Prologue, July 1, 1989. In the sacred forest of Portland, the pregnant woman who was wearing a black dress, with no shoes on and had tears on her face was finding the place only to stumble across the cult known as the Black Veil, and was immediately taken to their lair shortly before her water filled with blight serum broke. The woman was tied up on the obsidian bed, and she was screaming for her dear life as another woman, who appears to be old, walked in front of a woman, and the newborn was pulled out by force. And out of nowhere, the monstrous creature's claws pet the newborn's head, and the cult asked what's the gender of a baby, that looked perfectly like a normal newborn human baby would look, and its skin is pale, brown hair, and covered in claws as its blood veins, which the woman replied, the ruler of its own realm now has a daughter, and this experiment was a success to be a hybrid. The claws emerge as it writes its daughter's name is gonna be Kim. As a woman was given to the same spider-like creature, it was given her a cuddle, not sacrificing her. As Kim first opened her eyes are yellow-orange eyes, like the monstrous creature was possessing her, and her right arm is full of the symbols that no one knows, and near the shoulder is the cult symbol. 30 seconds after the human hybrid baby girl was born, the monstrous creature created a teddy bear that is black mixed with blighted serum, with one eye being orange and another green. A newborn was touching, and she loves it with no expression on her face. It seems the Princess Kim loves her first prize, said a woman. Give me back my baby, you scums. Kim's mother screams in rage but heartbroken at the same time. I'm afraid not. Kill her. The woman orders as the cultist obeyed her. The exorcist was patrolling the forest of Portland for demons. He heard a woman scream, and the demonic sounds from 2 miles from him. He uses bravery to break into the cult. At that moment, a soldier who has white-brown hair and a short beard, green exorcism outfit, and a cross on his hands appears out of nowhere and has a cross. He stumbled across the cult, the monster, a dying woman, and her infant. The woman was immediately stabbed by the woman. What are you doing with that poor woman and her baby? Asked the exorcist. Silence, you exorcist, said the woman as the monstrous creature puts Kim down. You have no right to come here and banish us. Oh, I will, you old whore, said the exorcist. That's it, kill him and the woman. The woman ordered as the fight began. The Black Veil members attempt to attack him, but they're quickly overrun by him. He and the monster then battled. As the claw cut his throat, the men pulled out a cross, so the monstrous creature, and the other members, only an infant with her claws as veins faded out, and her eyes changed to gorgeous hazel eyes, lived with her nose bleeding and crying. The man rushed to her and gave her comfort. He said the following. Hey, little one. I'm not a hostage, I'm just curious and wanted to adopt you. My name is Mark Aries. And I lost my daughter, Jenny. I can hear your name's Kim, right? Mark looked at the name tag on the silver name tag that the monstrous creature created while cuddling Kim. He looks to her now deceased mother and feels guilty about being too late. He took her with him 9 years later. Kim was wearing a no-ghost t-shirt, her eyes are hazel, brown hair, and wearing blue jeans, wasn't interested in cartoons or any animated films. She was interested in paranormal activity and early horror. Each time Mark was away, she would watch the old paranormal recordings and old horror films on the computer. The reason why she hasn't had a babysitter since 1997, the babysitters thought she was losing her mind and had her nosebleed like crazy. All of them who don't fully babysit or understand her quit for another child that doesn't behave like her. Kim's fine, she does not need a babysitter anyways. Despite not being old enough, she would defend herself from being abducted by manifesting herself by summoning the monstrous creature's claws to scare them or sacrifice them if they're too close. This is when she was afraid of her powers. She decided to tell Mark to go to her blood draw, and if her blood type is entity blood, she hid her powers and lived a normal life. Kim knew what's with her blood and asked Mark to take her to a phlebotomist to see what blood type she has. He agrees and went to the phlebotomy academy in Portland in the middle of the forest. Dad, what if it hurts? Kim asked. Don't worry, sweetheart, it will not. Mark reassured her. I see the place, we're here, Kim said. Both got out of the car and went to the waiting room where Mark signed Kim up for a blood draw. She agrees with him. Kim was watching the news on the waiting room's television and sees disappearance of people in Portland and around the world. 10 minutes later, a phlebotomist called Dr. Frederick called Kim's name and went to him. She sat on the chair where patients usually sit and let Dr. Frederick clean her arm and pokes her arm on the needle very patiently as she watches her blood flowing with the blighted serum in her blood, making her and Dr. Frederick shocked. "What's that, Dr. Frederick?" asked Kim. "What's in her bloodstream?" Mark asked. "Aries, your daughter has the serum and normal blood mixed. It is called entity blood," said Dr. Frederick. "How?" Kim asked. "She was born into a cult, right?" Dr. Frederick said. "Yeah, I was," Kim said. "Okay, I don't know what created you, and what happened. I'm so glad you're doing okay. Well, kid, since you're a good girl who did not throw a tantrum like others, what about I'll give you a prize?" Dr. Frederick said. "Wow, Kim, you're such a brave girl," Mark said, very proud of her. Dr. Frederick got the prize box and get what Kim wanted there. She got the Slime Ghost plush and wanted to keep it until she was 14 years old. "Oh, you love Ghostbusters?" Dr. Frederick asked. "Yep, this is one of her favorite movies," Mark asked. "Slima is my favorite next to Marshmallow Man and Terror Dogs." "Thank you, Frederick," Kim said, smiling. "Anytime, dear Mr. Aries, if her power was too much, bring her back. She needs a normal life," Dr. Frederick commanded. "Okay, I will," Mark said. "What if it's a trap?" Kim asked. "Don't worry, dear, you won't get powers unless it's urgent," Mark said as he turned to Frederick. "Have a good day, sir." "You too," Dr. Frederick said as he watched Mark holding Kim's arm to walk out the building. During preschool and kindergarten, nothing happens. But once Kim went to first grade, this is when she gets shy and worried. During English class, she could hallucinate anyone around her as energy and suffering souls. As she interacted with the soul, she clearly snapped back to reality. The teacher with brown skin, wearing a black tie, white polo shirt, blue jeans, brown belt, and gray shoes, looked at her with a concerned look on his face. "Kim, what are you doing with Link?" the teacher asked her as he saw her gently touch a student who had blonde hair, red shirt, brown eyes, white pants, and blue tennis shoes. I don't know, Mr. McCormick," Kim answered as she whipped away blood from her face. "Get this freak off of me," the student shouted. "I'm not bullying - Kim's sentence was interrupted by Mr. McCormick. "Kimberly Sue Aries. Why are you bullying Link?" the teacher asked, screaming at Kim while grabbing his apple and throwing it at her face while bleeding. This makes her upset. She can hear the students around her, even Link, laughing at her, causing her to run out of the classroom, crying hysterically to go to the principal's office to tell her what happened. The principal has brown skin, black hair, a white professional outfit, a blue skirt, and has black shoes. "So Kim, why are you here crying?" the principal asked. "Mr. McCormick thought I was hurting Link when I'm not. He threw an apple at my face, and worst of all, the students laughed at me like I was a big joke," Kim said, sniffing as she told the truth. "Thank you for your time, Kim. I will have to fire Mr. McCormick for that," the principal said, calmly. "Thank you," Kim said, smiling with tears still visible on her face. "You may go home now, since the day is almost over," the principal said. At home, she was sobbing in her room. Mark heard her crying and asked her what was wrong. She told her that her teacher Mr. McCormick threw an apple at her all because she touched Link, and the students humiliated her so hard that she told the principal what happened. She believed her and she heard that he was fired due to his actions. Mark heard this and hugged her and hoped the teacher would be better than the last one. She went back to first grade and everything seemed better. Winter 2000, 5 months later. When Kim got back from winter break, Link snuck up on her and pushed her to the floor. Kim got back and saw him. "Link. Why did you do that?" Kim asked. "You got my favorite teacher fired, don't you snitch bitch." Link shouted at her. Kim was shocked to hear what he had said to her face and said, "He threw an apple at me, don't you remember that?" Before getting punched in the face. "Crudo." Link shouted as he pulled out a lighter about to burn Kim. No one responded to the incident. As Link turned on the lighter, Kim snapped and fought back by biting him on the arm, causing him to turn into a helpless energy, causing his lighter to fall into the ground. Same with his stuff. Kim cannot control herself, opened her mouth to suck the energy in. After the energy was gone, she snapped out of it and realized Link was gone. She began crying and realized her nose was bleeding so badly. This is when Portland began to fear her. Kim was sent to the principal's office looking furious. "Kim, I just witnessed a demon inside you attacking Link and sucked his soul in, is that true?" asked the principal. "But Miss Joyce," he started. "He bought a lighter like he's gonna burn me alive," Kim said, about to cry. "Kim, you're a big girl. You're also a vampire to everyone. Get out of there before I'll call the authority." Principal screams. "It was Link," Kim said. "Don't blame him." The principal shouted at Kim as she threw a book at her, causing her to cry, and ran out of the school and went home. When Mark got home, he heard Kim crying from her room, and was holding her slimy green ghost plush and her first teddy bear since as a newborn on her hands. She has tears in her eyes. "What's wrong, Kim? Why are you crying?" Mark asked. "Something happened when Link bullied me and was about to light me on fire like I was some vampire and witch. Then, Joyce expelled me from school when I couldn't control myself when these monstrous creatures were inside me," Kim said as she broke down to tears and continued to cry. "I'm so sorry, Kim," Mark said as he patted her shoulder. "You know, I think this place is no longer safe for you. We need to move out." "I guess you're right," Kim said. This was the last straw. Kim packed her things and told Mark about the two of them to move out of Portland for good. This is when he agreed and packed his stuff and got out. 4 months later. Each time she went to school, they refused to be friends because they thought she might be a vampire or a witch. This is when she knew Portland, Oregon is no longer safe for her. Kim needed a peaceful life and good friends, which Mark agreed with her, and went to the most friendly but rainiest city in the USA, Seattle, Washington. Upon arriving in Seattle, it was raining unlike Portland. Portland was always sunny and shiny like in Texas. Seattle has a lot of trees, mountains, and even nice people who are not judging them. "Whoa, Dad. This city is really rainy out there. And there are a lot of nice people out there," Kim said. "I have an idea. I would sign you up for a special school that you might love. It's called Winchester Special Academy," Mark said. "But if they don't want me?" Kim asked. "Don't worry, Kim, you'll soon find friends eventually," Mark reassured. As they get to their new home, they see a woman waving at them. "Hello, Gretel Davis. Nice seeing you again," Mark shouted. "Oh hi, Mark. Who is this angel here?" Gretel asked. "My name is Kimberly Sue Aries. Is there anyone in the special school I will attend?" Kim asked. "Oh yes. I had a daughter who absolutely adores ants, insects, spiders, snakes, and small rodents. She has autism and she loves to meet new people," Gretel said. "She does?" Kim asked. "Yes, she does," Gretel said. "Besides, she's around your age. You probably get along very well." See Kim, you will get a new friend soon enough. Let's get our stuff out so we can set up and you'll have a blast there. Mark said. She was registered to the special school where she met for nice girls, Uma Yarrow, a girl with brown hair, blue eyes, yellow shirt, and blue jeans, Z Elite, a girl with blonde hair, hazel eyes, wearing a band t-shirt, and a legging with robotics, Sally Quinn a girl with red hair, blue eyes, heart t-shirt, and blue skirt, and Judy Davis a girl with long brown hair, hazel eyes, wearing the ant t-shirt, and black leggings. Judy was obsessed with insects and rodents that Gretel talked about days prior upon arriving, unlike people everywhere. Unlike Portland, Seattle felt like a safe haven for friends and Kim too. So you must be the new girl. Uma said. That's right. My name is Kim. Kim introduced herself before asking, what's yours? Nice to meet you. I'm Judy, Mom told me everything about you. Judy introduced herself smiling as she fed the hamsters food. Yeah, I'm Sally. Sally introduced herself. My name is Umaline Yarrow, but you may call me Uma. Uma introduced herself. Yeah, Kim. The name is Z-Bay Elite. Call me Z for short. Z introduced herself last. Nice to meet you four, I think you're being nice to me, and I loved it. Kim said. Yeah. I think you're also nicer than these people back in Forks. Uma said. Nice tattoos. Where did it come from? Judy asked. My tattoos. Kim asked as she put off her jacket and short-sleeved shirt, and pulled the sleeve from her right arm, and saw the strange marks she received as an infant. They hung out with Kim before and after class, talked about their past, and Kim disliked her past back in Portland due to how people were treating her. All of them felt so sorry for her. Kim felt supportive and asked them anything like what's their favorite stuff. Hers is watching paranormal activity recordings. Uma's favorite is watching horror, which impressed her. Z's and Sally's favorites are music. And Judy's favorites are the misunderstood creatures on Earth, ants, insects, spiders, snakes, and rodents. And they played Truth or Dare. When Uma asks Kim for the truth or the dare, she chooses dare, which led her saying, I dare you to kiss two of us. It's either me, Sally, Z, or Judy. Kim then chooses to kiss her and Judy. Well, that was unexpected. Uma said, blushing. That was cute. Judy said, giggling. Wait, do you love being kissed, even girls like me? Kim asked in surprise. Judy smiles at Kim and said, I love being kissed, even insects, spiders, snakes, rodents, and every gender of humans or not. Oh, I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable. Kim said. Oh no, you're fine. You did not. I just love it. Judy said, chuckling. Well, even though I disliked boys, they made me so uncomfortable that I wanted to run. Uma said. I only like people who actually treat me with respect. Kim said. They continued to play Truth or Dare. It was the final turn. Z asked when Kim wanted the truth. She asked, is this true you have been suffering since school but not this? She began to hallucinate herself in first grade during the apple incident. In reality, Z saw her nosebleed and began to regret what she had said. Even Uma, Sally, and Judy began to worry sick and hoped Kim was okay. Z touched Kim's shoulder to snap out of the hallucination. She began to cry in a traumatic way. Kim, are you okay? Uma asked in shock. Kim just turned away and did not bother to answer. Judy touched her shoulder gently. There, Kim. Judy said in a calming voice. I'm sorry for saying that to you. Z said, still feeling guilty. I forgive you. It's one of my natural powers. Kim said, stopped crying but still had tears in her face. You're not alone. Sally said. They stopped playing and went home after comforting and saying their daily goodbyes to Kim. 5 years later. The MySpace Scene Queen contest takes place in the City Hall. While Kim was playing sorry with Uma, Z, and Sally, she got a phone call from Judy. "Hello Judy, what's going on?" Kim asked. "I'm sorry for interrupted your time, but just to let you know I will bring tickets for the Best Scene Queen contest to you four, and I'm one of the contestants there," Judy reminded. "Oh, that was amazing. We will see you there. When will you pick us up?" Kim asked. "Now. My mom will pick you up since I don't have a license yet," Judy said. "Alrighty, I'll let them know that you're coming," Kim said. "Perfect. I will be there soon. See you outside," Judy said. "We will," Kim said as she hung up. "Girls, Judy is gonna pick us up in a minute." "What is it?" Uma asked. "Judy bought us 4 tickets for the Best Scene Queen contest of MySpace," Kim remarked. "Hey, that will be fun," Sally said. "I'll put away the game and wait for Judy to arrive," Z said. "Actually, Gretel is gonna pick us up," Kim said. "Wow, I can't wait," Uma said. After Z cleaned the game, the 4 saw Gretel's car and Judy was in the passenger seat, with a smile on her face now with braces on her teeth. "Hey Judy, I like the metal in your mouth," Kim said. "Thank you, Kim. It's called braces. I have had them for 2 weeks," Judy said. "Thanks for being a good person, and off the contest we go," Gretel said as she drove to the Seattle City Hall where 3 people who are scene girls were waiting at the door. It was MySpace's first annual Scene Queen contest. Judy, now wearing braces, invited Kim, Uma, Sally, and Z to support her during the event. She introduced her other friends, Barbara Royce, who has pink raccoon hair in the front, gorgeous look, glitch checkers as a t-shirt and belt, black jeans, and pink Converse, Rachel Elliott who has a makeup to look like a ragdoll, holding baby doll heads, has blue eyes, wearing blue dress, blue and black checkered belt, and Demonia boots, and Isha Rellant who has fish hair clips, aquatic blue hair, 1 piercing on the lip and eyebrow, wearing a couple of clownfishes gathered together while the blue fish looked in pride, blue jeans and blue Converse. She explains these 3 to the Quatrio. Isha was a huge fan of everything aquatic. Kim said to Judy to wish her and her friends luck. The contest was hosted by a scene king, who wanted a scene queen. His name was Gregory Wilson who has brown scene-like hair, piercings on his lips, a domo tees, blue jeans, green checkers for belt, and white Converse. He loves all of the designs for the scene queens. He was mostly impressed by Barbara's looks. The contestants of MySpace Scene Queen Contest 2005 goes as follows. Gina Lee, wearing a Disney inspiration scene girl. Veronica Young, wearing Fall Out Boy inspiration scene. Barbara Royce, the most gorgeous outfit with barbed wires and colored checkered. Lily Dimitri, sci-fi inspiration scene girl. What Gregory does not know that she worked with a brutal band in Australia, her home. Grace Junzio, werewolf inspiration. Carrie Green, everything pink. Isha Rellant, aquatic. Judy Davis, insects, spiders, snakes, and rodent. Glenda Santiago, Edgar Allan Poe inspiration. Ashley Garland, Wizard of Oz inspiration. Rachel Elliott. The second gorgeous outfit with baby doll's head hanging from her belt. Charlotte Cullen, cosplayer, she was diagnosed with cancer at the time. Isabel Landry, DC inspiration scene girl. Laura Fee, Marvel inspiration scene girl. Frankie Toronto, witch inspiration. Alice Sherwood, frog inspiration. Patricia Williams, fantasy inspiration. Catherine Lawrence, anime inspiration. Jane Parker, kiss inspiration. Daniela Rout, road inspiration. Zoe George, guitarist inspiration. Barbie Riveria, Barbie inspiration. Hannah Frost, ice inspiration. Millie Greensun, clown inspiration. During the event, a pen leaks in Carrie Green's pocket, staining her white shirt hot pink. Her irrational anger at the impurity made other contestants and Gregory worried as Barbara said in voice chat, don't be such a Karen, Carrie. Alright, that's enough. And the top 8 winners are. Gregory announced. Oh boy. Here we go. I hope I beat you, barbed wire. Carrie said. Well, I hope you're not in the top 8 spot. Barbara said, starting off with an 8th place for the best scene queen outfit. The animal protection container goes to Judy Mary Davis. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped. Judy walked to the stage to hold her prize. Thanks, Gregory, my friends would not live without this, she said before walking away. Gregory then pulled out the next prize, which was a fish tank. The 7th place for the best scene queen outfit goes to Isha Martha Rellant. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped. Isha ran to claim her prize. This would be perfect for my collection. Thank you, Greg. I won't forget this, she said before sitting next to Judy. Gregory then pulled out the next prize, which was the collection of pink pens. The 6th place for the best scene queen outfit goes to Carrie Green. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped. Heh, in your fucking face, barbed wire, and your weird friend, Carrie said as she claimed her prize before sitting by herself. He pulled out the next prize, which is a life-size werewolf. The 5th place winner for the best scene queen outfit goes to Grace Junzio. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped and Grace claimed her prize. He pulled out a big speaker, which was the next prize. The 4th place winner for the best scene queen outfit goes to Lily Dimitri. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped as Lily went to the stage. Loki's gonna be so proud if he sees this, Lily said. What was that? Gregory asked. Just my friend, she said before walking away. Gregory stands himself in the middle, which he will be for the 1st place winner, holding My Scene Queen banner along with the DIY comic book for a 3rd place winner and sewing machine as a 2nd place prize. Alright, the moment you all have been waiting for, the top 3 winners. The 3rd place for the best scene queen outfit goes to Isabel Landry. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped. Oh boy. I'm making a comic of my own, Isabel said excitedly as she held the book. That's right. Do what you want in that book and go back to your seat to announce 2 more winners, Gregory said as Isabel walked away with her prize. The 2nd place winner for the best scene queen outfit goes to Rachel Elliott. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped as Rachel ran and claimed the prize. Wow, Rachel. Way to go, girl, Barbara said. Thanks, bestie, Rachel said. Now I can make my own dolls. She then walked away to where the winners were. And now, the moment you all have been waiting for, the winner for the best MySpace scene queen will be my girlfriend, and the 1st place winner is. Drum roll, please, Gregory said as others drum rolled before he answered, Barbara Roy's. Barbara then gets happy and runs into him, hugging and kissing him uncontrollably. Gregory. My prince. I wanna marry you, Barbara said excitedly. What the hell? Carrie said in shock. Congratulations, Barbara, my friend, Rachel said. Ha, I'm sure you do, Gregory said. Aw, look how happy she is, Judy said. Well, at least you got an 8th place with the protection, Kim said before looking at Charlotte with a sad expression. Kim feels bad for Charlotte for not winning, so she gave her $20 out of her allowance to donate to her. Don't worry, Charlotte, I hope you are feeling better, and I got you $20 so the doctors could save you, Kim said. It was all I had, but your life is worth more. Ah. Thanks, Charlotte said, smiling. Here's my bow tie you can keep in case I die. Ah, that's a sweet thing to do, Gregory said before seeing Kim walking back to Judy. That's all for this year, and have a good night. Gregory announced as the audiences and the scene queens clapped. About 2 years later, Barbara was in her room and chatting with Rachel, and was confused about Gregory. She waited for him to respond impatiently. Suddenly, she heard her MySpace email popping up, clicked the mail, and it was from Gregory to her excitement. But something's different. He was wearing glasses, a polo shirt, blue jeans that are not ripped, and brown shoes, and he was with another girl with long brown hair, brown eyes, white skin, purple coat, orange shirt, blue jeans, and normal tennis shoes. Before she messaged Gregory, Rachel sent her a message saying, "Is Gregory responding?" She went to her email and messaged yes. And he does not look like a scene I knew and love. It is like what a poser could wear. And Rachel messaged back saying, "Okay, go to his mail and see what he says." She checked the messages, only to see what the messages said. Gregory, "Hey Barbara, sorry I haven't responded to you in 2 weeks. Barbara then messages him back with, "It's okay darling, and who the fuck is that bitch with you, and why are you dressing like a poser?" She saw Gregory's message that made her heart shattered, "Don't call me that. I'm sorry but we're breaking up and the girl is Kendra Scott. She's a lot nicer and caring than you." Barbara then closes the email back to Rachel's while she recorded herself crying uncontrollably in pure rage. As she stopped recording it, she threw the picture of her and Gregory into the fireplace. As she got back to the laptop, the voice message from Rachel and she hit the play button on which she said, "Barbara, are you okay? What happened with Gregory?" Which Barbara records again and said this time upon crying. "He broke up with me, he says this fucking bitch is way better than me." When Rachel got another voice message for her, as she played she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for what happened. I'll always be your friend, no matter what." Barbara shuts off her laptop and screams on her pillow. 9 months later. October 3, 2008. Kim got an invitation from Judy to host a spooky sleepover for a night. She agrees and shows Mark the invitation. "Oh hi Kim, what's this you're holding?" Mark asked as he got a closer look on the invitation. The invitation says, "Hello Kim. Tonight, it will be spooky scary fun, and you'll hear scary stories from the dark. I have my ants, snakes, and rodents with me. They really want to see how you look in your Halloween costume. I'll see you in my house. Judy Davis." "Wow, that's tonight. You better get ready." Mark said. "I will." Kim said as she went upstairs and got her Halloween costume. It was like a spider costume, but with blighted splatter on its tips. "Whoa, you look great dear. Let's go." Mark said in surprise as he and Kim went to the car and drove to the Davis residence in the outskirts into the forest. "I love you Kim and be safe," Mark said as he kissed her on the forehead. "I will, Dad," Kim said as she watched him drive off. She went to the door and knocked on it and Judy opened the door. She was wearing a Titan boa-inspired costume. Inside was Z, Isha, and Sally. Z was wearing a gorgeous robotic scene costume, Sally was a ragdoll scene girl costume that inspired her aesthetic, and Isha was wearing a shark-inspired costume, and was mixing her water and red coloring to make it look like blood. "Hello, Kim. Welcome to the haunted house. It's the best damn year ever," Judy shouted. "Besides, I love your costume, where did you get it?" "I made the costume myself with Uma." "Speaking of her, where is she?" Kim asked. "She's too sick to come," Z answered. "We got a call from Miss Yarrow that she has a fever, I hope she's well," Sally said. "Come on anyway," Judy said. "Did you also make your costume, girls?" Kim asked. "Well, Kim, you're not the only one here. I made it myself too," Judy said. "Same here," Z said. "I bought the costume with my allowance," Sally said. "Same with Sally," Isha said. Then a spider and a snake came to Kim, and adored her costume so much and wanted her as her master. "Ah, I think they like you," Judy said. "All right guys, enough cuddling and I'll get into the rules." The spider and the snake went back to their cage as the Ant Queen stood on Judy's shoulder, informing her that the phone was ringing. "Wait, Madme just informed me as I heard a phone in my room, I'll be back," Judy said as she ran to her room and picked up the phone. It was her ex-boyfriend, Bruno. He sounds like was tortured and traumatized from the situation he had. "Hey Bruno, what do you want now?" Judy asked. "Judy. I'm sorry. For hurting the python. Though he was hurting you." Bruno apologized. "I forgive you. How are you and Gina, and why are you in pain?" Judy asked in shock. "This manner. We are in so much pain," Bruno said in agony. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Judy asked. "No. It was fucking not good. You see, someone sent us an invitation for this torture chamber disguise as a haunted house," Bruno informed. "What? Is this sort of joke?" Judy asked. "I'm sorry, Judy, but it's serious. Warn MySpace creators to chat about this place," Bruno said. "Oh, I will. I'm so sorry for what happened to you," Judy said. "And call an ambulance about me." "Oh wait. Gina got it," Bruno said. "All right, I will warn MySpace users," Judy said. "Goodbye, Jude. Have a good life," Bruno said as he was about to hang up. "You too," Judy said as she hung up in a sad manner. As Judy went to her laptop to warn the group of MySpace, Kim walked in while hearing the broadcast called All Things Wicked, hosted by Sable Ward, Michaela Reed, and Julian, about to start in about 3 minutes. "What's going on, Judy?" Kim asked. "I just got a call from my ex-boyfriend, Corey, about the torture chamber disguised as a haunted house called McCamey Manor. I was relieved he made it out alive," Judy said. "I hope. I heard this place is a death trap. Anyways, me, Isha, Z, and Sally are about to hear the broadcast called All Things Wicked. I have been a big fan since I first heard it. Do you want to join?" Kim asked. "Sure, it's suitable for Halloween anyway," Judy said as she posted a warning for MySpace users and closed her laptop to go to the living room. Kim, Isha, Sally, and Z gathered a circle and Judy gave her friends water mixed with red coloring, mixing up to look like blood. They got a disturbed look at it except for Kim, who just took it. "Thank you, Judy. I needed it," Kim said. "You're welcome, Kimberly," Judy said as she sat with them while Isha, Z, and Sally got their drinks now in a curious look and turned on the broadcast. As the broadcast began, Kim closed her eyes and started to void walk and hallucinate herself in Greenville, Massachusetts, where Michaela, Sable, and Julian lived. "Hello ghouls and goblins, I'm your host, Sable Ward. This is my girlfriend, Michaela," Sable said. "Hello everyone, it's nice seeing you again," Michaela said as she kissed Sable on the cheek. Kim was immediately in love with the witch couple. She smiles, now shows braces on her teeth. "Hey, I love your braces, young lady," Julian said before asking. "What's your name?" "Oh, me. My name is Kimberly Sue Aries." "Thank you for saying it. You're Julian, right? I heard you, Sable, and Michaela on the radio all the time, and I'm a big fan," Kim said. "That's very thoughtful of you. I'll get to work. Good luck," Julian said as he ran to the stage. As the story begins, Kim sees the red and black fog behind the trio on the stage. She was horrified and her nose bled as she senses the future. The claw came out of the fog and patted her shoulder, and wiped the blood out of her nose. The other three were slowly gaining up on them. In reality, Z, Sally, Judy, and Isha were shocked to see Kim's nose bleeding like crazy. Judy hugged Kim, causing her to snap back to reality. "Kim, are you okay?" Judy asked. "Yeah, I have a vision that the monstrous entity and the red and black fog would come and take Michaela, Sable, Julian, and eventually us to the permanent trap known as that different realm," Kim said. "Oh, Kim, everything will be all right," Judy reassured as a snake on her shoulder licked Kim's blood and face. "All right, ladies, after the broadcast, it's bedtime. And Judy, can you take your night meds?" Gretel asked from the kitchen as she prepared some medicines. "Okay, Mom," Judy said. Kim pulled out her backpack and her medicine container to swallow the night medicine down her throat by drinking the blood-mixed water that Judy gave her before the broadcast. "Kimberly, are you okay?" Gretel asked. "I'll be fine. I just have a horrifying vision. I'll explain tomorrow," Kim said. "Kim, where do you want to sleep?" Gretel asked. "I'll sleep with Judy in her room, while Z, Sally, and Isha are sleeping in the spare guest room," Kim said. "Okay, Kim, let's go and I hope you get some good sleep," Judy said as she took her to her room to rest before Judy opened her laptop and got a message from Barbara in MySpace. Meanwhile with Barbara who just got a message received from Judy by saying, "Barbara, don't go to this place. It is a torture chamber disguising itself as an innocent haunted house." Barbara then messages her back and said, "Oh, don't be a drama queen. I'll invite just 2 people. I'll invite Gregory and his bitchy girlfriend." She then sees Judy's message saying, "Barbara, if Gregory doesn't want to be with you anymore, accept the fact he does not love you. Besides, I'd watched the videos on YouTube and my friend told me about this place. And thank God he was alright. I'm dead serious." Barbara then closes her laptop and has an idea to get revenge. She sent 2 tickets for Gregory and Kendra. 1 week later, Gregory and Kendra picked up Barbara with the same pink raccoon hair from the contest, now has pale face, scene-like t-shirt, hallowed jeans, and the usual Converse shoes and drove all the way to Summertown, Tennessee. While Barbara, Gregory, and Kendra drove off from Seattle all the way to Tennessee, at the zoo, Judy was feeding ants an apple when she suddenly got a call from Bruno. But she picked up the phone, it was not him, it was actually Gina, she sounded like was crying. "Gina, what's wrong?" Judy asked in shock. "Bruno. Not my boyfriend," Gina said in tears. "Bruno? What about him? What happened?" Judy asked. "He's dead," Gina announced, making Judy drop an apple. It didn't kill ants and made her into tears before hearing, "After the manor, the doctors announced to me that he has a few days to live, but today, he died." Judy began to cry out loud as ants and snakes heard her crying and comforted her. Just then, an anaconda got out of its cage and licked her tears away. "Okay, Annie. Thank you, I need you to go back to your cage so they won't find you just escaped," Judy said as an anaconda called Annie slithered back into her cage. She went to the break room to inform her boss. "What's wrong, Judy? Why are you crying?" said the boss. "I just got a phone call from my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend and informed me that he is dead," Judy said in tears. "Oh, I am so sorry for what happened. You can go ahead and take a 5-minute break. In the meantime, there are more ants to comfort you," said the boss as he put the jar of ants and opened the lid so the ants would comfort her. "Thank you. You're the best." Judy said she can feel a tiny ant on her finger. "Anytime," said the boss. After the time had passed, she went back to work after closing the lid and letting the ants in. And she got over it. On the way, Gregory has to buy lots of gas and buy food for himself, Kendra, and Barbara. Unawareing this was his and Kendra's last trip together alive. Once they got there, they signed a waiver and went to the entrance. Barbara was laughing like crazy, like she was planning something. "Why are you laughing, Barbara?" Gregory asked. "Nothing. Let the show roll," Barbara said. They went to the manor and got scared. They were sent to the first torture chamber. Barbara wasn't begging or crying. She was actually happy and laughing at herself being tortured. When the actors tackled her with the real barbed wires, she was excited and wanted to wear this forever and never take it off. When they got to the gas chamber, she was able to free herself before she could suffocate. Gregory and Kendra were fighting for their lives. "Barbara, help us. Get us out of this foggy shit," Gregory begged. "Help us. We wanna quit this shit," Kendra screamed. Barbara just smiled in the most deranged way and said her last words to them, "Let there be a lesson. Don't underestimate the scene queen." She laughs as the duo die of suffocation, took a merciless selfie in their final moments, and then sent it to MySpace. The actors or tormentors came to see the couple dead. The actors brought Russ McCamey to her, and all of them were impressed with her actions and gave her $20,000 as a grand prize, and was the first and only one who got out of the manor and drove Gregory's car as a joyride all the way back to Seattle. As she got there, she parked Gregory's car in front of his house and called Rachel to take her home. Rachel agrees and takes her home. "It was a fun time killing my ex-boyfriend and his poser girlfriend," Barbara said, cackling like a deranged lunatic as glitches appeared around her. Her best friend ignored the glitch. "Gregory absolutely deserves to die for hurting you," Rachel said. "And cool power and love your new accessories." Before taking Barbara home, she would like to introduce her gang in the abandoned warehouse in Seattle. "Would you like to meet my adopted family?" Rachel asked. "Yeah, but how did your parents die?" Barbara asked. "It's a long story, but I'll tell you anyway," Rachel said as she began. "While my original parents were making supper for themselves since they grounded me, I found an axe and I wore my ragdoll mask and outfit on and snuck out of my room into the kitchen, and I swung my mom's head off and struck my father's chest until he was dead." "That's cool, but how did you get adopted?" Barbara asked. "Okay, Barbara. Then the police cars showed up and I escaped through the sewers and went all the way to the old and abandoned warehouse and got out, and here I met 5 people, 3 are men and 2 are women. They're both scene kings and queens who refuse to change. The men are Jerry, a guy was wearing a green dog with black ears, ripped black jeans, wearing glasses and wearing Vans. Connor, a guy was wearing a white beagle with black ears with black checkered rainbow, was wearing white jeans, wearing a cap, has piercings under his lips, and was also wearing Vans, and Ian, a guy wearing a pierce the veil shirt, wearing a red jeans, wearing piercing onto his nose, and has Converse. As for the women, there's Zoe, a lady was wearing an Avril Lavigne t-shirt, pink skirt, her hair was inspired by Avril Lavigne, and she has lots of piercings on her ears. And Jessica, a lady has rainbow hair, wearing a rainbow tee, rainbow skirt, rainbow piercings on her face, and she was a rainbow Vans. Rachel continues as she and Barbara are at their destination. "Oh, we're here," Barbara squealed in excitement. They got off and saw the 5 people in scene aesthetic in the outfit that Rachel talked about. "Howdy, Rachel," Jerry said. "Welcome home," Connor said. "Who's that gorgeous scene outfit I'd ever seen in my life?" Jessica asked. "My name is Barbara Royce, or you may call me Barb Wires. I just went back from Tennessee and got revenge on a boy once I lived only to be betrayed because of that whore," Barbara said. "Oh, we are so sorry for what happened, Barbara," Zoe said. "It's all right, he and his fiancée are dead now," Rachel said. "Do you want to see my selfie?" Barbara asked. "Sure. Show us," Ian said. She pulled out her camera and showed them her merciless selfie with her alive while 2 people, Gregory and Kendra, died in the gas chamber, making all members proud. "That's pretty cool," Connor said. If my boyfriend broke up with me, I will do the same thing. Zoe said. What are you gonna do, Barb Wires? Ian asked. We should watch one episode of iCarly, then we'll play murder mystery, and then swing a knife at an ex-boyfriend game. Barbara suggested. That's an excellent idea. Rachel said. After watching an episode of iCarly, they were playing murder mystery called Who Killed the Cashier? The board game was an 8-player game about a cashier named Carl the Cashier, who was murdered by an unknown person whenever all of his workmates were away. The workmates have to solve the mystery to figure out who did this. That's gonna be awesome, isn't it? Barbara asked while glitching. Yep, it sure is, Barb Wires. And cool effect you got on. Jerry said, smiling. Well, thank you, Jerry. Barbara smiled. After the murder mystery was solved, Rachel was the killer and moved on to swing a knife at an ex-boyfriend. A printed picture of a boy who has natural hair color blonde, short hair, green polo shirt, and has pimples on his face. Alright guys, welcome to kill. Swing a knife at an ex-boyfriend. The rules are simple: throw a knife at their important functions like the brain, which is inside our heads, and a heart, which is controlling blood and in our chests. Ian constructed. The first in line was the leader, Jerry. He threw a knife at a sky avoiding the picture's arm. Next in line was Connor. He threw a knife at his arm. Does this count? Connor asked. Kinda. Ian said. It was Zoe's turn and threw a knife at a picture in the gut. It counts too. Then it was Jessica's turn and threw a knife at a plank. And it was Rachel's turn and threw a knife sideways at the picture of a man's throat. Finally, it was Barbara's turn to shine. She threw a knife at the picture of a boy in the heart. Making everyone impressed. Wow, Barb Wires. That was so amazing, mate. Ian said. Thank you. Barbara said in glee. After this was over, Barbara decided it's time to go home. Rachel and the others agreed and waved goodbye to her. If you lose your parents, come live with us if you want to. Jerry said. I sure will. Barbara said. They waved as Rachel got in the car and drove her back home, where her parents were worried and concerned about her. I know, my bestie, and thank you. Barbara said. And I got a surprise for you. Ooh, what is it, bestie? She asked. Barbara pulled out $20,000 at the manor, which made Rachel proud. She gave $10,000 to her, and the remaining to herself. Barbara, I'm so gonna be rich. We must see the Twilight film next month together along with my family. Rachel said in excitement. Yeah, and I'm here. See you next week. Barbara said as she got out of the car and went to her house that her parents were mad and concerned about her leaving for almost a week. They grounded her for 2 weeks, which she does not even care about. She was planning on watching Twilight with Rachel and her family next month anyway. Meanwhile, when Barbara took Gregory and Kendra to their end, Uma was wearing piercing on the bottom of her lip, wearing night vision goggles, gray long-sleeved shirt, wearing brown jacket, with black gloves and arm brackets, blue jeans, and wearing Converse, was hosting the first ever investigation throughout abandoned places in Seattle. Kim, wearing the bow tie that Charlotte gave her, brown hair with scene-like, wearing a skull shirt with black jacket, dark gray jeans, and Converse. Sally, wearing glasses, wearing piercings on both sides of her lips, t-shirt of Panic at the Disco, blue jeans and wearing Vans, and Z wearing a Paramore shirt, pink jeans and Vans. All right, ladies. Uma said. This is our first investigation through Seattle. But first, we should do a roll call. Kim. At your side as always. Kim said. Z. Uma said. Here. Z said. And lastly, Sally. Uma said. Present. Sally said. Good, everyone is here. There are rumors about people going missing lately, and I want you to know what spirit you are communicating with. So be careful. Uma said. They all agreed. Uma then closed her laptop and went into her car. Meanwhile, Kim was calling Judy about the investigation. Hello, Kim. What's up? Judy said in worried. Hey, Judy. Why are you so worried? Are you okay? Kim asked. I was afraid that Barbara would ignore my warnings and would let Gregory and Kendra get tormented big time. Judy said. Oh, I just want to let you know that me, Uma, Z, and Sally are going to investigate something like an abandoned forest. Kim said. Oh, that sounds spooky. But okay. Be careful out there. Judy said. We will. Anyways, see you tomorrow. Kim said before hanging up. She went to the living room to let Mark know about the investigation. Well, Kim honey, that would be dangerous but fun. So be careful and be safe. Mark said. I love you, honey. Love you too, Dad. Kim said as she exited the house to Uma's car where she, Z, and Sally were already in. Gretel takes Judy home from work for school tomorrow, takes her night medicine, calls Kim, and goes onto her laptop to see the latest MySpace post she likes. As she got into the third post, this is when she was shocked to see Barbara's post where she takes a merciless selfie with what appears to be Gregory and Kendra suffocated to death in the gas chamber. Judy began to tear up and messaged Barbara starting with, Barbara, what have you done? Just then, Judy got the response message from Barbara saying, first place as a grand winner for last seen queen standing, am I right? She messaged in the rage and heartbroken way possible. I told you this place is a torture chamber in disguise, and yet you don't even care. Then, Barbara sent Judy a message saying, look at you, you're a baby because Gregory got what he deserved in this wonderful place for breaking up with me, replacing me with this whore. Judy messaged back by saying, I told you if Gregory doesn't want you anymore, then accept the fact he does not want you. And not only you're a psycho, you're a bully. Barbara then messaged back and said, LOL, Crybaby thinks she would be a hero, and I am a villain. I am not a villain, you are, baby. Wanna have some milk? Judy then screams and then cries and messages Barbara for one last time, you know what, Barbara, that's it. I am not your friend anymore. We're done. I'll report and block you. Then Judy closes the message, blocking Barbara from MySpace, and reports her for harassment and bullying and showing such graphic content. Finally, she closes her laptop and cries on her bed. A rat, a snake, and a ladybug sense her sadness. They gather around her, giving her comfort. A snake licked her tears away as a ladybug offered her some tea, and saw Gretel come to her room. Judy, are you okay? Why are you crying, darling? Gretel said as she put her hand on her shoulder. That psycho. She. Judy said as she broke down to tears. She did what? Gretel asked. She killed Gregory and Kendra after I told her not to go to this awful torture chamber in disguise, but she wouldn't listen at all. Judy said in tears. Oh my, did you cut ties with Barbara and block and report her? Gretel asked. Yes, I did. Judy said. I'm sorry for what happened, dear. Get some sleep while I will call her parents for what happened. Good night, sweetie. Gretel said as she left the room. Good night, Mom. Judy said as she drifted to sleep as tears were still visible on her face. As they went to the outskirts of the town at night, they stumbled across an abandoned forest that was run by spirits roaming for decades. They got their gadgets on and started to investigate. As they got near the tunnels, Kim began manifesting herself with her braces and teeth clutching. She was in another realm of the energies before being consumed by the monstrous creature. What is this place? Kim asked herself. You're in a spirit realm, Kim, said a spirit that has bald hair, hospital gown, and brown eyes. What? Am I dead? Kim asked. No, you are just manifesting into the entity's half-realm, said a spirit with black hair, her left eye pierced by glass, the large glass pierced her stomach with a Kiss t-shirt, black jeans, and a Converse. She immediately recognized these two girls are from the MySpace Scene Queen contests starting 3 years ago. She realized the bald-headed girl is Charlotte Cullen. She lost a battle to cancer, and Jane Parker, who died in a tragic car accident. Charlotte. No. No. Why did you lose to your illness? Kim said before crying, realizing she had failed her. Charlotte then put her hand on her shoulder. It's okay, I was free. Everyone does not donate everything to me but you. You're the only one who would save others. Charlotte said. Yeah, dude. Everyone makes mistakes but not worse. Jane said. I can tell you have some strange marks for some reason. Charlotte said. My strange marks. Oh, it's just tattoos, am I right? Kim asked. Jane and Charlotte just disappeared to the great beyond as Kim watched in confusion. Back in reality, Kim's eyes were blank, and her nose was bleeding so much from her nostrils to her throat. Uma, Z, and Sally began to worry sick about her. Back in another world, she went to the void to see her mother, Mr. McCormick, and Link energy drained due to the monstrous creature known as the entity claiming them. What happened? Kim asked in confusion. The ghost couple who recently died from being suffocated were wandering in another realm, and met another guy who had died due to the injuries. Kim walked into the trio. Hello, young lady, aren't you the one who donated the $20 to Charlotte? The suffocated man asked. Gregory? Kendra? Bruno? Is that both of you? Kim asked in shock. How did you know us? Kendra asked. I've been having visions of you and meeting you since then. Kim said. And as for you, Bruno, Judy told everything about you. Nice. Bruno said. Thanks, I must go now. See you later. Kim said. Okay then. Kendra said. Nice meeting you. Gregory said. She was snapped back to reality thanks to Uma, slapped her so hard, and hugged the trio like she never wanted to lose them. They continued on investigation and unknowingly were watched by the couple's figures. As they were done with investigation for the night, Uma took a picture of something that replaced the Seattle skyline and forest with the black fog from above. Kim knew this would lead into a permanent trap. As she looked up, the fog vanished in front of her eyes, and told them they should go home for school tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Mark took Kim to school and told her to have a good day. She got out of the car and met up with Uma, Z, and Sally came to their first period class, chemistry, with Judy, who feels devastated and crying over the disappearances of Gregory and Kendra. Kim came to Judy. What's wrong, Judy? Kim asked. Oh, Kim. I just saw the news last night and saw the abductions and disappearance of Gregory and Kendra. Judy said through sobs. Who did this to them? Kim asked. I know who did this. It was Barbara Royce. She told me about McCamey Manor last week, and I warned her about this place but won't listen. Judy sobbed before being hugged by Kim. I'm sorry for what happened. If I saw her, I would use my powers to attack. Kim reassured her. Okay. Now it's time for class. Judy said, feeling better and calmed down. As class started, the duo of bullies, a male who has brown hair, generic bully, blue eyes, crooked teeth, brown polo shirt, blue jeans and black shoes, and a girl with medium blue hair, she also has blue eyes, pink dress, and has white socks and pink shoes, came up to them. It turned out they're the same couple that stalked Kim, Uma, Z, and Sally last night. Randall. Angela. Why did you stalk us? Kim asked in confusion. Well, freak bitch, I just exposed your secrets to turn against you so you can suffer. Randall said. That's right. Angela said. Wait, what? You did this to me? Kim asked. Leave Kim alone. Judy said. Fine. Randall said before looking away. If I see that freak with weird marks, we'll kill you for real. The rest of the morning at school goes well until lunch. Kim was having cheese pizza for lunch, Uma had tacos, Z had salami, Sally had hot dogs, Isha had fried chicken, and Judy had vegetables. Their peace was interrupted by Randall and Angela. What are you freaks eating? Randall asked. Randall, Angela, why are you bothering us? Kim asked. Angela then pulled out a knife while Randall pulled out a sharp fork. Angela slitted Kim's left arm so badly so she punched her in the face to back off. Randall was pulling Judy's hair but Sally pushed him away from her. After this Randall bit her arm. As Angela was about to stab Kim in the heart, the same monstrous claws she encountered in the realm came out of Kim's mouth and pierced Angela's neck and kidneys, turning her into energy. Randall and others stopped attacking and saw what was happening. Kim sucked Angela's spirit uncontrollably. Fuck this. I'm outta here. Randall said before running away in fear like a coward. Kim. Stop this. Uma said in horror. As the spirit of Angela was consumed, Kim then snapped out of control and looked at her friends with a shocked and confused look on her face with a nosebleed and checked her arm that was injured but it was already healed. Turns out she has the ability to regenerate herself. Where's Angela? Kim asked. Angela is gone. I don't know what's happening to you. Z said. Kim started to feel guilty. Judy and Isha then comforted her like they were proud of her defending herself against the bad bully. She heard the intercom. Kim Sue Aries, Umaline Yarrow, Z Bay Elite, Sally Quinn, Ish Abel Rellant, and Judy Davis, come to my office now. They went to the principal's office only to be confronted by Randall with a fake traumatized face like he was planning to do something. The principal has tan skin, black hair, black mustache, white hair, blue jeans, and black shoes. Can you explain why Randall reported the Angela incident? The principal asked. Well, Principal Bobby, let me explain. Uma began. As we went to class, Randall and Angela were bullying Kim. 3 months later. Barbara, wearing the same hairstyle and color before and got barbed wires all over her and taken off, was bored out of her mind and wanted to raid somewhere with Rachel, watched the mall raid anarchy video, and was immediately satisfied with this, and she called Rachel on the phone. Oh hey Barbara, how's it going? Rachel asked. Nothing much. Just bored, Barbara said. Say, would you like to go to the mall to raid the 2 stores we love? Oh yes. I always love committing anarchy, and I hope the raid is a success. Rachel said excitedly. Good, and I'll wait for you. See you in a bit. Barbara said. All right. Rachel said as she hung up and drove to Barbara's house to pick her up. Before the raid begins, Rachel and Barbara went to the abandoned warehouse where Rachel's family were and greeted them. Barb Wires, it's good to see you again. Jessica said as she hugged Barbara. It's good to see you too, Jess. Barbara said. What you ladies up to? Jerry asked. Raiding our favorite stores with weapons. I need a bag to put stuff in. Rachel said. Raiding, I love raiding. Zoe said. I'm sorry guys, only me and Barbara would go. Rachel said. We'll do it another time if we're not arrested. Okay then. Ian said. Connor got the bags out for Barbara and Rachel and packed them in the car. That was nice of you, Connor. Barbara said. Thanks. Connor said as he walked to Jerry and kissed him on the cheek, making him blush. Aw, thank you, Connor babe. Jerry said. Are you a gay couple? Barbara said. Oh, yes we are, Barb Wires. Connor said. That's awesome. Anyways, the mall should be open in 5 minutes. Barbara said. We better get going now. Rachel said. All right, be safe from the police. Jessica said. Good luck. Jerry said as he and the other members watched Rachel getting in the car and drove to the mall. The duo went to the mall and saw any emo and scenes, went into the mall and were invested. They went to the mall without them noticing. And they reached Spencer's first. Perfect, target acquired. Rachel said. Yeah. Let's go. Barbara said as he held a knife while Rachel grabbed an raggedy axe on her hand ready to swing. But before that, they'll have to find something to hide their weapons. Meanwhile, Kim was sitting in her room and writing a diary about going to therapy in 8 months. She wrote it with her black pen and worried about her powers getting worse from here. She hopes everything was normal for the first time. As she finished writing her diary, her decoding process reached a fever pitch. The static from her laptop screen. She manifested herself back into the same realm as she was in months ago. She was wandering a bit until she came across the spirit of a little girl who was bald, a hospital gown, and no shoes. "Huh? You must be the Jenny that your dad talked about," Kim said. "That's right. How did you know my dad?" Jenny asked. "He saved me from the Black Veil, the cult," Kim said. "Well, they're making us, Aries, an ultimate project from this place to reality," Jenny said. "What do you mean?" Kim asked. "These ancient scientists were trying to make hybrids like the spider god, which is your parent," Jenny said. "So the scientists made me and this thing an experiment, huh?" Kim asked. "Yes," Jenny said. Back in the ancient era, the group of researchers and scientists gathered for the Project Aries and Project Entity. Whoever made the project to the entity has gone really, really wrong. Upon its creation, it created a black fog to lure anyone who gets in their way, starting off with its parents and creators to harvest. Over time, the fog would spread around the world, even yours too. But what you've done to Angela is not self-defense, it's a ritual. Kim heard it and began to cry in regret. "Don't cry. Sometimes I do too. But the cult you've talked about tried to capture and sacrifice me to the entity but failed," Jenny said. "You may be the hybrid of this monster, but this is a sentence and not a gift. Not even for killers or victims." What about my tattoos?" Kim asked. "Oh Kim, that's not a tattoo and not an ordinary mark, it is the birthmark of the entity," Jenny remarked. The entity's claws loomed behind Jenny, not attacking her or Kim. Instead, it reaches its tip to pet Kim's head and wipes her tears away. The gratitude it expresses, the sacrifice of Angela, triggers a massive bleeding through. After the conversation with Jenny, she heard a weird sound from afar. What was that? Kim asked herself as she began to wander around. Kim get into the generator. She didn't miss a skill check until she saw a little fetus with bald hair, 3 eyes, a third eye was on it left, jagged teeth, and was skinny. It was panting and growling. As he was about to pounce, it noticed that the birthmark on her left arm, she was born into the cult like it and its sister. "Hello. Who are you?" Kim asked. "Oh, my name is Victor Deshays. You're facing right now is me and my sister, Charlotte Deshays. We're the twins." Victor introduced himself. "Well, I'm Kim Aries. I was manifesting," Kim said. "It's good to see you," Victor said before walking away. At that moment, a woman with light brown skin, brown hair, orange and white zigzag crop top, black jeans and black shoes appeared. "Freak, what did you do?" said a woman. "Nothing. Kim was slapped in the face by a woman." "You brought him over, didn't you? You're such a bitch who has no soul." A woman insulted Kim. Victor hears Kim crying as a woman insulted her, "Elodie. Leave my new sister alone," he said as he pounced on her. "Sister. Down her. On it," Charlotte said as she came and attacked Elodie. Instead of attacking Kim, she realized she looked like the sister she ever wanted. She spared her life and walked off after picking up Elodie. As the generators are powered, Elodie was sacrificed, and the doors were open to everyone, and Charlotte lets Kim go before the 10-second mark of the endgame. As she escapes, she sees Barbara and Rachel heading to Hot Topic and sees the cameras and sees 3 workers in danger. Back in the real world, Barbara and Rachel hid their weapons so they strike at Spencer's. Inside, the 3 workers called Quintanilla, Corey, and Lewis were getting ready to call a day a 1. Quintanilla spots the 2 scene girls ready to strike. Rachel got her axe ready and swung it at him. But Corey attempts to stop Rachel like a badass. Barbara pushed into the glass window, creating a huge mess full of glass, killing him. Barbara grabbed a huge shard as a new weapon and said, "A new weapon of mine. Rachel, let's find the last one so we raid the shit out of this place." Barbara said, "You've got it," Rachel said as she beheaded Quintanilla, creating a bloody splatter. Lewis, the last remaining worker, was hiding as he sees the 2 girls heading their way. He finds a nearest telephone to call the police to arrest these 2. As he got the phone, the door was immediately destroyed by Rachel's axe and Barbara slitted Lewis' throat, and Rachel destroyed the telephone with her axe. They managed to raid Spencer's by stealing shirts, clothes, neon signs, and more in order to become famous. 1 down. Barbara said. "The last one to go is Hot Topic," Rachel said following Barbara's sentence. Back with Kim, she realized she can see Barbara and Rachel through security cameras from her bedroom without them knowing. For the first time, she uses void walking to trigger the mall's fire alarm. "What was that?" Rachel asked. "That was a ghost, and let's get out of here before anyone catches us," Barbara said as the 2 ran out of the mall into Rachel's car along with stuff from Spencer's they stole. At the aquarium, Isha was carefully feeding the fish their food, and she looked at the watch saying it was 6:59 p.m. She clocks out and the boss said, "Isha, I'm so proud of you for how you would take care of the fishes unlike fish sitters cannot. I'll see you tomorrow." "Thank you, boss, and I'll see you then," Isha said as she clocks out. She watches TV after calling Uma to pick her up and watches the news when a news reporter ally Blanca. "Just in, earlier today, there were 2 raiders going on a crime spree. 3 workers at Spencer's are all dead. May rest in peace to these 3. However, the raid was cut off shortly after the incident by the unknown figure pulling a fire alarm. These 2 people responsible for all raiding and crimes are Barbara Royce and Rachel Elliott. We would have Fred here in front of the destroyed Spencer's, so Fred, are you here?" Blanca said. "Yes, Blanca, I'm here at the glass-shattered place of Spencer's with a man impaled by the glass and dead bodies of the workers. I would to have a talk with its manager, Mr. Gorgon," Fred said as a man with gray hair, white skin, with glasses, wearing an inappropriate tee on his torso, and blue pants with black and gray checkered walked to him in an annoying expression on his face. "Yeah, these 2 sneaky ladies who appear to be 18 to 17 years old. They're permanently banned from my stores around the USA and Canada. I hope they get punished for their actions by their parents, whether they have it or not. Oh, speaking the devil, Hot Topic manager by the name of Rebecca Zoladere's coming. I've better keep going now. And if the parents watch this, punish them for 5 months. Mr. Gorgon says as he walks off as Zoladere comes. "Thank you, Gorgon, and you, Zoladere. How can you react when these duo partners in crime appear in the store upon seeing Spencer's got raided by them?" Yer asked. "Well, I was helping the sales associate to prepare to have all things wicked merch, when all of a sudden I heard the glass shatter from Spencer's, and these deranged psychos were heading this way to us. We locked the doors and closed the windows. As we did this, all of a sudden the alarm went off, and we saw the duo run off. None of us touched the system. It looked like we had a hero who was mysterious, and had warped abilities to pull an alarm to scare the duo away. That was a miracle to have a hero. But it was so traumatizing to see the duo of psychos scared away by the same people. These duo were banned from my store. I hope they're punished but not the mysterious entity," Zoladere said. Okay, Ms. Zoladair, please go back to work. Yer said as Zoladair walked back to Hot Topic before saying something back. And back to you, Blanca. The TV cuts back to Blanca holding paper. Thank you, Fred. We'll be right back for new messages. Isha was angry and turned off the TV, and ran outside and screamed in rage. Barbara and Rachel, you two are gonna pay for what you have done in the mall. Isha said before seeing Uma's car and got in calmly but mad. Isha, are you okay? Uma asked. No, I am so mad at Barbara and Rachel. I want to call the cops or Mr. and Mrs. Royce about this. Isha said. But my phone is dead. They did this? Uma asked. Yes, they did. Isha said. I'll just calm down and pick up our friends so we can go to the labs. Isha said. That sounds good, but we'll be careful, everyone has been disappearing lately. Uma said. Okay. Isha said as Uma drove to Z's apartment. Kim snapped back to reality before hearing a knock on the door. Once she opens the door, it was her friends this time with Isha, who was still angry at Barbara and Rachel for their crimes. Isha, is everything wrong? Kim said. It's not your fault, Kim. I was angry at Barbara and Rachel for what they have done at the mall today. Isha said. Anywho's, could you go to the abandoned lab with us? Judy asked. Kim was thinking about going to the labs or not. A month before. December 2008. In the lab, a scientist with gray hair, wearing glasses, black shirt, white lab coat, and blue pants named Dr. Joseph Duncan was searching for something like a test tube that tracks supernatural or criminals down, and was repairing a regenerator. As he finished the generator in the west wing, and moved onto the east wing, he heard a voice coming from the other room. Frank, said a mysterious voice. Ugh, not now, Bob, said Dr. Duncan. I'm not Frank. It's Duncan. Come with me. I got such exciting sights to show you so you won't forget, said the mysterious figure. I said not now, all right, said Dr. Duncan. Trust me, it was amazing. Said the same mystery voice for one more time. Fine, Bob. Dr. Duncan said as he walked to the mysterious door. I hope it's not your dash. Before he could finish his sentence, he was grabbed by a mysterious figure and dragged into the door. He was struggling to escape but no luck, he was impaled by a hook. Not like a normal hook but a sacrificial hook. He was sacrificed to the mysterious creature, and the mysterious person smiles in glee as she watches his misery. Present day. Kim, are you going to the lab or not? Judy asked. Yes, ladies, I do. I'm actually curious anyway. Kim said. Kim, what was that? Mark Aries asked. Oh, I was curious about the lab with my friends. Kim said. All right, be safe, sweetie, and your friends. Mark said as he hugs her before walking off. Uma went to her car, she was the driver and packed everyone with Kim getting in for last and drove to the lab, which was in the forest in the outskirts of Seattle. 10 minutes before. Barbara walked to the abandoned warehouse to see her friends again. Well, hello Barb Wires. Thanks for giving us some Spencer's merchandise that you and Rachel just raided. Jessica said. Yeah, I'm sorry that you guys failed to raid Hot Topic because of the unknown ghost. Ian said. That's fine, we're gonna have to kidnap her friends and kill her. Rachel said. That sounds like a good idea. Barbara said. But where? I know the place you experiment on, it's the lab in the outskirts of Seattle where the scientists disappear each time they work there. Jerry said. Wow, it'll be my job. Barbara said. Okay, let's go. Rachel said as she and Barbara went into the car. Good luck, y'all. Zoe said. Barbara smiled as Rachel drove her all the way to the labs in the back. They got off and saw the building in their eyes. Kim got a closer look at the sign. Hey Kim, Z, Sally, and I will head to the East Wing while you, Judy, and Isha go to the West Wing. Uma suggested. Okay. Kim said as she, Judy, and Isha head west while her other friends went east. Uma, Z, and Sally went to the first room, which was a scientist changing room, not saying a word, and continued on. As they investigate the far right of the East Wing, they went to the room that was an old lab. It was a torture chamber filled with rust back in the 50s, computers and modern tech. The trio discovered vats filled with blighted serum and normal human blood mixed together. Uma grabbed the container with the label saying, Project Entity. They realized it was the same DNA of Kim when she was an infant. As they investigated further, they heard something. Hello there, worms, said the same mysterious person. What? Who's there? Uma asked. That's not Kim or Judy, is it? Z warned. It's not Isha either. Sally reminded. Don't you want to go in the next room with me, said the same mysterious person. I know you're not the ones I know. Uma snapped. You left me no choice, said a mysterious figure who knocked them out when she came from behind. Meanwhile, Kim, Judy, and Isha went to the West Wing of the labs. They discovered the room filled with failed hybrids with human heads, monstrous claws as bodies, still have human hands, and no legs. Kim was shocked to see all of those abominations, as she looked to her left filled with the monstrous spider god's failed human hybrids. Kim was shocked, and she was the only one who has a full human body as a hybrid that is actually successful compared to those abominations. At that moment, she heard crying, and it came from Judy. Jude, what's wrong? Isha asked. These rodents. Judy cried as she pointed at the rodents with their organs exposed out. Kim felt sick when she looked at it. At that moment, they heard screaming from the other side. Uma. Kim shouted in shock. Z. Isha shouted in shock. Sally. Judy shouted too. I know how to save them. Kim said as she can see the walls from the East Wing, and it turned out that Barbara was tying them up into the sacrificial table. So you must be the one snitching on me and Rachel, eh? Barbara asked. I should have known it was you and Rachel, Barbara. Z said. Why, you and Rachel should be ashamed of yourself for your girls' actions. Sally said. I agreed. Isha was right. Uma said before getting stabbed in the stomach. Uma. No. Kim said as she started to manifest herself in void walking, and off to save her friends from that psycho. Barbara sees Kim as an illusion and tries to grab her, but it did nothing at all. She swung a punch, but it didn't work either. Kim freed Uma, who was wounded, Z, and Sally. Uma tackled Barbara but was punched into containers and glass pierced her skin but survived. Kim saw this and used her telekinesis to pin Barbara to the gas explosion tank, causing the fire. So she held Uma safely and gave her to Sally. Z and the others ran to the main building where Uma's car was at before Kim snapped where she stood, and Isha and Judy smelled the fire, and they immediately evacuated the place and went to the car. Since Uma was injured, Z drove the car and escaped just in time before the lab exploded. As Z drove, Kim called the ambulance about Uma's injuries and took her to the hospital. As they got back in town to the hospital, the paramedics took her into the emergency room in time. They let her stay for 8 months to recover. August 2009. As Uma was recovering, Kim went to visit her with a rose and a get well soon card, and thanked her for the birthday card with a $100 Visa gift card. Kim, I'm so happy you're here. Uma said as she was healing up. Oh, Uma. Z, Sally, Isha, Judy, and I were worried about you. Kim said as she teared up. Don't cry, Kim. I know it's not your fault. You did the right thing by saving me, Z, and Sally from that deranged psychopath. Uma said, smiling. After they hugged, Kim walked home and wrote her diary. What happened to Barbara Royce? Moments before the explosion, flashback. Shortly after the 6 left, Barbara got up, a little injured and planned to get revenge, and left the building before it exploded. She called Rachel to pick her up. "So how did the kidnapping go?" Rachel asked. "Not go as planned. And I'm so fucking pissed," Barbara shouted. "Oh, I'm sorry, maybe I'll take you to somewhere you want to eat so we can hang out to make you feel better," Rachel said. "Okay, I'll wait for you," Barbara said. She walked through the forest until there was a road and saw the car that belongs to Rachel's. "Get in, my girlfriend," Rachel commanded. Barbara smiles as she gets in and goes back into the town. And Rachel picked up her friends, and they got a worried look on their faces. "Barb Wires, what happened to you?" Jerry asked. "That ghost bastard was way too magical to kill," Barbara said. "What's the ghost like?" Zoe asked. "Apparently, she has hazel eyes, pale skin, braces on her teeth like none of us would have. She has brown and light brown hair, and she has the girl who died's bow tie. She has black jacket and pink insides with pink and black bracelets. And has dark gray pants," Barbara said. "What's her name?" Connor asked. "I didn't remember her name," Barbara said. "Let's just forget about it, and we should go to Baba Yaga for dinner. How does that sound?" Jessica asked. "Great, let's go there." "Thanks," Barbara said as Rachel drove to the restaurant. A year before, Kim went to the orthodontist for braces since she believed that the monstrous creature has corrupting her teeth. Then the orthodontist named Dr. Patrick Gordon called her name. He was wearing a orthodontist blue suit, he was wearing blue gloves, has brown hair, has tan skin, and was wearing black shoes like a professional. "All right, Kimberly. Let's get your braces in your mouth," Dr. Gordon said as he pulled out supplies that helped get her braces on. "Okay, I'll take it," Kim said. Unlike other people or humans and like Judy, Kim has lack of fear and agony. She would fall asleep thanks to the mask and dreamed herself in the same realm as before and went to Jenny. "Hello, Kim," Jenny said. "Did you know I can save everything I loved?" Kim said. "Yeah, I watched everything. I saw you saved your friends from the bully of yours which were Randall and Angela while you're void walking and use your power. That's very blissful of you," Jenny said smiling. "Thank you," Kim said smiling. "And how did you know them?" "I seen them stalking you, no matter what you and your friends are up to," Jenny remarked. Kim was patient the whole time. As she got her braces done, she woke up. Mark came to see his adopted daughter's braces and asked, "So, Dr. Gordon, how long does she have to wear these?" "Well, bad news, Mr. Aries, your daughter's teeth were badly crooked, and she'll keep her braces permanently." "I'm sorry," Dr. Gordon said in a sad tone. "Do I have to wear braces permanently?" "My dad," Kim said in annoyance. "That's okay, my teeth were ugly anyways." "Hey, Kim, don't say that. Your teeth would look good," Mark said. "You're right," Kim said. "Kim has been absolutely good and she deserves a sticker," Dr. Gordon said. Kim was searching for a sticker until she found the match of her aesthetic, which was a scene and emo trend. She got one of her favorite band stickers, Axe Kick. The Aries went home. A year later. September 2009. Uma was fully recovered and released from the hospital from her injuries. Z, Sally, Kim, Judy, and Isha were there. "Hello, Uma," Kim said smiling. "Hey girl, I'm glad you're better." Z, the one who drove Uma's car. "I'm happy you're alive," Judy said. "Hey ladies. I'm glad to see you too. And I need to drive and I think I'm ready," Uma said. Z swapped places with Uma. Southwest she could drive. She drove safely and followed the laws like always. Kim called Mark about something. "Hey Dad," Kim said. Hey baby, what's going on? Mark asked. I'm supposed to be in therapy tonight, and I'm coming by myself. Is that okay? Kim asked. Oh yes Kim, you're almost an adult after all. I love you and be safe. Mark said before hanging up. Uma and other girls overheard Kim talking about therapy. So you're going to therapy, eh? Uma said. Yes. I am. Kim said. Kim knew the directions and she was in front of the building where Professor Sadie Kovac. She has white skin, teal hair, wearing glasses, wearing a red professional jacket, black shirt, blue jeans, and brown professional shoes was waiting outside. Hello young lady, you must be Kimberly Sue Aries, right? Professor Kovac said. Yes, Professor Kovac, I am. Kim said. Great. Come in and we're gonna get started by introducing ourselves. Professor Kovac said gleefully as they came to the professor's office. So Kim, how are you doing? I'm doing well, my best friend just got out of the hospital from her injuries and you? Kim said. I'm doing great, Kim. Thank you for asking. Professor Kovac said. Why do you need therapy? Because I need to control my powers and manage them. Kim said. Oh, you have powers? That's amazing. Professor Kovac said in glee. What powers do you have? Upon hearing her, Kim began to manifest herself into a memory where her biological mother married to a man who stood next to her. That's my mom and dad? Kim asked herself before smiling in tears. Before trying to hug them, but every time she tried, her arms went through because of the memory. As she went to the honeymoon where her parents went, they never had sex with each other, not even married as they got home to Portland as she followed them. What created me? Who am I? Where do I come from? And my birthmark? She asked herself. As time goes by at night, she sees the same monstrous creature that is the entity making her biological mother pregnant by manifesting her stomach and inflating her stomach. What? Kim asked herself whispering as she looked at her right arm to see that Jenny was right. She doesn't have an ordinary mark or a tattoo, it is a birthmark. She can see what's inside her mother's stomach to see herself as an unborn fetus, and receiving the birthmark on the right arm from the entity itself before disappearing. The next morning, her mother got up and looked at herself in the mirror, and her father got up and saw a woman had her stomach inflated which tested her pregnancy, and it was positive, causing her father to flip out. Did you cheat on me, you whore? Her dad said in anger. No. I don't know what happened. Her mom said. Don't you lie to me, you bitch. Kim's dad said as she watches him abuse her mother by hitting her, and eventually force her to sign a divorce papers. Which made Kim cry with her mom. She didn't blame her for what she didn't do. After this, she went to June 29, 1989, just 2 days before her birth, with her powers. Kim follows her father into a bar where there is a big fight going on. She saw him flirting with a girl. Hey, babe. I know you're better than my bitch-ass wife. Her father said. Oh, you're welcome to my house whenever you want. The girl chuckled. Why is he cheating on my mom? Kim asked herself before seeing a muscular white dude walking in front of her father. Hey. What are you doing to my bitch? Said a guy. It's not dash. Before her father could finish his sentence, the same guy threw a bottle at him, and impaled him on the neck, causing him to slowly die. Kim did nothing but watch as she was spotted by the same guy, and uses her void walking to see her mother not hosting her baby shower or nothing. She was snapped back to reality by Professor Kovac by wiping her blood off of her face. Are you okay, Kim? Professor Kovac asked before seeing her crying. What's wrong? My parents got divorced all because of my actual creator. Kim said while crying. Ah. Kim, don't cry, at least you have your guardian Mark and your friends, right? Professor Kovac said. You're right. I'm not alone. Thanks. Kim said before wiping her tears away. And this is one of my powers. Alright, what's your other power? Professor Kovac asked. Kim uses her void walking to witness Barbara murdering her parents with the same shard she got from Spencer's. Mrs. Roy's last words are, "Honey, get the shotgun." Before getting killed by her. Kim was shocked to see what was happening as Mr. Royce ran from Barbara to go to the basement to get the shotgun. After he gets into the basement, Kim uses her telekinesis to block the door to stop Barbara from killing her father. But she was too strong and broke the door, causing Kim to disappear back to Professor Kovac's office. During Mr. Roy's final moments, he sees Barbara with a carved barbed wire cheeks, pale face, scene queen icon makeup, and her body strapped with barbed wires, and her last words to him before ending his life were, "Don't be a poser, Dad. Bye-bye," before stabbing him. Back in Professor Kovac's office, she was impressed with Kim's powers to stop everything from getting worse, and would teach her how to manage her powers. As time went by, Kim was done, hugged Professor Kovac, said goodbye to her before Mark to pick her up, but it seems he was not responding. So she called Uma instead, into picking her up at her house. "Hey Uma, it's Kim. My therapy is done, can you pick me up?" Kim said. "Sure, I'll take you home," Uma said. As Uma and Kim were almost at Kim's house, she realized the door was opened and maybe someone or something broke into her property, and used her telekinesis in case they strike. "Mark, are you dash?" Kim asked worriedly before gasping in horror to see Mark's murdered body. The night before Mark's murder, Barbara carved a barbed wire smile on her face with the same shard glass from before, and snuck into her parents' bedroom. She tapped Mrs. Roy's, her mother's shoulder to wake her up and screamed at her daughter's new appearance. "Do you like my new look, Mother?" Barbara said in a raspy and sinister voice. "Holy shit, Barbara. What happened to you?" her mother said. Her father woke up upon hearing her mother screaming, and was horrified by her new appearance. "I'll take it as a no," Barbara said in anger as she pulled out a shard. "Honey, find a shotgun," her mother said as her father went downstairs as he heard his wife screaming in agony and Barbara laughing like crazy as she stabbed her in the chest. Mr. Royce ran into the basement to find a shotgun, and saw Barbara falling from the stairs and got no injuries. He ran to the basement where the shotgun was. "Oh Daddy. I know you're here," Barbara said and spots the basement and ran into the door. But the door was blocked with various obstacles by unseen force. "Not now, ghost. I got a job to do, so leave me alone, stalker," she screamed impatiently. She uses her strength to get them out of the way, so she opened the door so she could end her father. As he opens fire at Barbara, she dodges every shot and stabs him on the shoulder, causing him to drop on the floor, same with the shotgun which she steps on. "Be Barbara. This is not you," Mr. Royce said in anger upon dying. "Oh please Dad. Don't be a poser. Accept the fact who I am," Barbara said as she pulled out a shard glass and stabbed him in the forehead, killing him. She took a photo of her father's and mother's lifeless bodies and uploaded them to MySpace. And she got 5 tickets for the Criminals in Ormond movie. She puts 4 in the envelope and keeps 1 for herself. And sneaks into the Aries residence without being caught, and walks back into towards somewhere else. After killing her parents, packed her things, and sent a mail to the Aries residence, Barbara went to the warehouse where Rachel and the gang were waiting for her outside. "Barbara. You'd finally showed up," Rachel said as she hugged her. "Cool smile, dude. How did you make it?" Ian asked. "I carved it." Barbara smiled in evilest glee. "That was absolutely beautiful," Jessica said. "I ran from my parents and unlived them and got here so I can stay with you forever," Barbara said. "Woo. Barbed wire. Welcome to the family," Connor said. "Thank you guys, by the way, I got 11 tickets for Criminals in Ormond in theaters tomorrow. I gave 4 to the residence where the girl lives. Barbara said as she gave the 6 to Rachel and others while keep one herself. Thank you, Barb Wires. Zoe said. Unfortunately, Barbara, we have a busy day tomorrow and the ticket says next week. Jerry said. Okay, I have the ticket tomorrow, I hope you can see it next week. Barbara said. You're right, Rachel. We should get to bed. Ian said as Barbara slept next to Rachel in her room as others went to sleep. Present day. Kim sees Mark's lifeless body who has multiple shotguns through his chest and his brain blown onto the couch covered in blood and weeps for him. Dad. Don't die. Who did this to you? Kim cried. Oh, don't be such a puss, bitch. You deserve this, said a mysterious figure. Kim was offended by this and stopped crying with an angry expression on her face. Whoever you are, murderer, show yourself now. Kim commanded. The murderer stepped out of the shadows, and it was none other than Randall Watson. Miss me, motherfucker? Randall asked. Randall. I knew you were behind this shit. Get out. Kim shouted. Uma got out of the car to see what was happening, and to her horror, Randall was back to bully her friend. Randall. What are you doing at her house? Uma asked. Oh, hello investigation bitch. It's been a long time since you fools got out of school by mistake. Randall said as Kim uses her powers to pin him onto the staircase. Ow, bitch. What the hell is that for? Don't talk back to us and you're a psychopath like Barbara. Kim said. Please. I will destroy your mail just to make you suffer as well as for tickets as she mailed you. Randall said as Kim let go and pulled a gun and shot her. No. Uma said in shock. Suddenly, the same claws merged from the ground and impaled Randall, causing him to scream in agony. Holy shit. What was that? Randall screamed as the claws impaled his neck, consuming his soul, and erased immediately. Uma then ran to Kim to make sure she was alive. To her surprise, she could regenerate herself, and she was still alive and hugged her. Uma. Kim said. Oh Kim. I thought you were dead. Uma said in tears. Kim got back and hugged the lifeless body of Mark for one last time, before she and Uma went to pick up Z and Sally to go to the movies to see Criminals in Ormond. Since Isha was working at an aquarium and Judy was babysitting the snakes at the zoo anyways. Before Kim went there though, she manifested herself back in the same realm as before, and was told by the weeping and twitching spirits. Please don't go. The spirit of Mr. Royce said. What are you talking about? Kim asked. We watched our daughter going to the movies for Criminals in Ormond and trying to kill the spirits. The spirit of Mrs. Royce said. I hope my partner's safe, said the spirit of Carl the cashier. She was terrified of what had happened to those spirits. Suddenly she is snapped back to reality, and goes with Uma, after wiping blood out of her nose. As they picked up Sally and Z from the bus stop, they saw pink and red, looked like blood, substance having footprints. What were those footprints, where does it lead to? Uma asked in confusion. I don't know, but we have to find out. Maybe it must be Barbara or some killer. Kim said. I bet you were smart. The message that Barbara received about last night was that she posted the corpses of her family and sent it into my MySpace account. Z said. It was disgusting as fuck. I need to find out what Barbara is doing. Sally said. All right, get in the car and we should go to the mall and see Criminals in Ormond. Uma said as Sally and Z went in and drove to the mall, which was led by more footprints. Oh, is this based on a true story? Z asked. Yes, it was. Kim said before continuing. These criminals known as the Legion have vandalized the small city of Ormond, Canada, and were taken by the fog after the murders of the cashier. As they got out of the car, they followed the footprints and saw Barbara. the one responsible for the footprints. Barbara just looked at them and had a deranged smile on her face with the same scars she got on her face, little strapped barbed wires from her throat to her arms and legs. That frightening people at the mall, even the girls. But Kim's reaction was different. She has a lack of emotion and lack of fear once she sees her new appearance make her want to banish her. Well, hello ladies. Thanks for accepting my invitation. She smiles. Barbara. I knew it was you. Uma said. Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself for what you've done with your parents. Z said. Oh, my parents. Yeah. They deserved it. I will see you in the theater. Barbara taunted before running away. They were confused about the scar on her face, and they went to the films to see Criminals of Ormond. Once the climax began, Barbara snuck out of the theaters to the project room, but was caught by the veteran projectionist, Jim. Young lady. Get back into the movies or get out. Jim yelled. Shut up. Barbara said before slitting his throat with the shard, killing him. Blood splattered all over Barbara and thinks it was a perfect fitting. She hijacked the projector to something else and walked out like nothing happened. Meanwhile this happened, Kim who was eating a gummy bear and the trio were watching in peace but the film was gone. Huh? Kim said as she swallowed one of the green gummy bears down her throat. What happened to the film? Uma asked in confusion. Maybe someone has hijacked it. But who? Z said. Let's find out who did this. Sally said. As they went to the front of the seat to find out what happened, Uma was sucked into the screen, which is now the black fog. She was heard screaming. Uma. Kim, Z, and Sally shouted. Ladies. Uma said as she was swallowed by the fog. They heard laughing coming in as everyone got out. It was Barbara. Do you love my surprise? Barbara asked. What did you do? Kim asked in anger. Oh, you see, this theater is a death trap and you three are next. Barbara said, pulling out a shard. Sally went to grab the chair and hit Barbara with it but dodged it, and let her fly into the wall as Z went to the phone to call the police. Barbara overreacted too quickly and was about to stab her. She was floating and choking by something. It was Kim. She uses her telekinesis to throw her into the same fog that just took Uma. She stood there staring at her friends. Are you okay? Kim asked. Yes. Come on. Let's get out of here. Z begged. Please. Sally said, shedding tears. I have to go. Kim said. No. Please don't do this. Sally said, crying. Goodbye. You gave me life and I will miss you. Kim said as she was consumed by the same fog. Kim. No. Z said. Z and Sally went out of the theater and got Uma's car and drove as Sally in the front seat next to Z, who was driving seeing the black fog consuming the east wing of the mall. This is where the movie theater was at. As they got home, Sally and Z were crying for their friends. In the different dimension, Uma sees the survivors that look like a guy with glasses, black hair, gray polo shirt, black tie, black pants, and black shoes, and a girl with red two-braided pigtails, wearing an athletic outfit and tennis shoes. Ah, hello. Uma said in confusion. Hey, I need your help. Where am I and how are we gonna get out of here? None of the survivors said anything until she heard a voice coming in front of a campfire. This is my parents' realm and there is nowhere to go. Kim said as Uma hugged her. Oh, Kim. I thought I lost you. Why is there no escape from this dimension? Uma asked. It's not a dimension, this is our new home now. Kim sadly said. In the forest of the realm, Barbara, now renamed as the Raw Ring, was glitching and twitching to stare at those survivors when she pulled out a camera with barbed wires as shoulder bags. Now they will get what they deserve. The Raw Ring smiles as she said it as she was ready to become a killer. Let the trials begin, Kim said as the survivors got ready for trials.